Good morning, all my dear students. Today I brought the another part of the lubricant topic, that is lubricant classification. In the first part we have seen what are the lubricants, what are its important function, and how we apply the lubricant between two moving, rolling or the sliding surfaces, mechanism of the lubrication. Now we understand how many lubricants are available to us and how we can understand on the basis of their properties. So it comes in the lubricant classification. So in this lecture we should cover the various types of the lubricants under the classification of the lubricants, the liquid lubricants, semi-solid lubricants, and the solid lubricants. What is the learning outcome of this lecture? You will be able to understand a brief classification of the lubricants on the basis of their properties, structure, and the state. The liquid lubricants, semi-solid lubricants, and the solid lubricants. We can classify the lubricants on the basis of the state of the aggregation of the molecules. The liquid lubricants, which exist in the liquid state, and among all the molecules of this lubricant have the lesser force of attraction. The semi-solid lubricants, which are partially solid and partially liquid, and the complete solid lubricant, which exists in the solid state, meaning their molecular force of attraction is higher. So first we will discuss about the liquid lubricants. The lubricants which exist in the liquid form are called the liquid lubricants. There are several liquid lubricants we can classify according to the properties they possess. We can divide into the four types: the vegetable and the animal oils like mustard oil, whale oil, tallow oil. The second one is the mineral oil. The third one is the blended oils. And the fourth one is the synthetic oil, that are man-made oils. So here you can able to see some example of the animal oils and the vegetable oils, which actually extracted from the seeds of the plant, the vegetable oil, and an extraction from the different parts of the animals. We have the animal oils. So let's talk about the vegetable and the animal oils in detail. We have the several examples of the vegetable and the animal oils like mustard oil, olive oil, palm oil, whale oil, tallow oil. Chemically, they are the glycerides of the higher fatty acids. So if we see its chemical composition, they are the glycerides of the higher fatty acid. They are having very good property, that is called oiliness property. What is this oiliness property? The ability to stick between the two surfaces. The surfaces can be moving, sliding or rolling under high temperature and high load, or we can say high pressure. So under high pressure, high temperature, the ability to stick between the surfaces is called oiliness property, and this property is very good in these oils. That's why it is used as a lubricant. But we can't use vegetable and the animal oils in an excess, because there are certain limitations. They use limitedly because they are costlier as compared to the other oils. Undergo oxidation easily. This is a drawback. The vegetable and the animal oils undergo oxidation easily, and which can convert the lubricant into acidic and the gummy products and destroy the lubricant property. And they also have the tendency to hydrolyze when come in the contact with the moist air or the aqueous medium. So by these limitations, we cannot use the vegetable and the animal oil in an excess as a lubricant. For a lubricant, it possesses very good property, oiliness, but it undergo oxidation also. So for seeing all the limitation, we have to carefully use these vegetable and the animal oils. So the next category in the liquid lubricants, that is mineral oils. Mineral oils are obtained by the distillation of the petroleum. Chemically, they are the lower molecular weight hydrocarbons having the 12 to 50 carbon atom chain. They are having very poor oiliness property. As we have seen, the vegetable and the animal oils are having very good oiliness property. But mineral oil has the poor oiliness property. These are most widely used lubricants in the machines because they are cheaper as compared to the vegetable and the animal oil. If we compare the vegetable and animal with the mineral oil, they are cheaper. Mineral oil are cheaper and quite stable under service condition, because vegetable and the animal oil undergo oxidation easily. As compared to vegetable and the animal oil, mineral oils are quite stable under the service condition. So these are the most important advantage of using the mineral oils in the large purpose or the commercial purpose. We can improve the oiliness property and we can use its advantage. The addition of the higher fatty acids like oleic acid, stearic acid increase the oiliness of the mineral oil. So if we go for increasing the oiliness of the mineral oil by adding the fatty acids, or we can also add some quantity of the vegetable and the animal oils, because vegetable and the animal oils are having good oiliness property. If we add some quantity of the vegetable and the animal oil to the mineral oil, it can also enhance the oiliness property, as well as directly you can add the higher fatty acid in the mineral oil. So to improve the oiliness of the mineral oil, because other properties are very advantages of the mineral oil, that they are cheap and quite stable, so to use as a lubricant. So by improving the oiliness, we can easily use the mineral oil, and the oiliness can be improved by the two things. Either you go for adding the higher fatty acid directly to the mineral oil, or we can also add the vegetable and the animal oils. So by adding vegetables and the animal oil, we can enhance the oiliness of the mineral oil. So that can be used as a lubricant. The next category of the liquid lubricant is blended oils. As we have seen earlier, to improve the oiliness property of the mineral oil, we have added higher fatty acid, oleic acid, stearic acid, or we can add some quantity of the vegetable or the animal oils. So which kind of the oils are prepared by adding some compound, that is called blended oil. Understood? So the properties of the petroleum oils are improved by adding specific additives. Additives, some compounds you have added, so that are called additives. Two function of the additives are there. One is it enhances the property which is lower in the lubricant, as well as it provide a new property to the lubricant which additive possesses. We can classify the additive into two types. The one is chemically inert additive and the another one is chemically active additive. The difference between the chemically inert and the chemically active additives is the chemically inert additives only improve the physical property of the lubricant. It do not react with the atoms or the molecule of the surfaces or of the lubricant. For example, viscosity index improvers, cloud and pour point depressants. So these are the physical property of an oil like viscosity and the cloud and pour point. So to improve these property, we can use chemically inert additives. And the next one is chemically active additives, which undergo the reaction, and the reaction product is responsible for improving the property. For example, the extreme pressure additives come in the category of the chemically active additive. The additives are tricrysyl phosphate, sulfurized oil, chlorinated esters, because in this the active functional group is phosphorus, sulfur, we have the chlorine. These are the active functional group in these additives. So what's the role of the active functional group? It reacts with the metal surface to form the phosphides, sulfides and the chlorides, which is having very high melting point. So which cannot remove from the surface under extreme condition. So on the basis of the reaction, it is forming phosphides, chlorides or sulfides, which is having very high melting point, which stick over the surface under extreme condition. So they are chemically forming these chlorides, sulfides and phosphides. That's why it is called chemically active additives. So chemically active additives react with the surfaces, and chemically inert do not show the reaction. It only improves the physical property of the lubricant. Now the last category in the liquid lubricant is the synthetic oil. Synthetic oil is a lubricant consisting of the chemical compounds that are artificially made or man-made, understood, in a laboratory. Synthetic lubricants can be manufactured using chemically modified petroleum components rather than the whole crude oil. Understood? What we are having in the natural oil, that is crude oil. So we can add some chemicals into it. So that's the modified petroleum components addition in the oil. So that is a chemical oil, we can say, or man-made oil, which is synthesized in the laboratory. Synthetic lubricants can be divided into two types. It is fully synthetic lubricants, where we have added the chemicals above 50%, and semi-synthetic lubricants are also there, where the addition of the additives is above 25%. So on the basis of the chemicals you have added or the additives added, we can classify the synthetic lubricants into these two types, fully synthetic and semi-synthetic. There are several advantages of the synthetic lubricant because they have the unique properties like better high and the low temperature viscosity performance at the service temperature extreme, better high viscosity index which is required in the application, better chemical and the shear stability, decrease evaporative loss. It is very much resistant to the oxidation and the oil sludge. Better lubrication during extreme cold weather start, possibly a longer life, improve a fuel economy, reduce engine wear, increase engine efficiency. So by seeing all its unique property, it is very advantageous to use the synthetic lubricant in the application. There are several synthetic lubricants. The category of the synthetic lubricants, or we can say the examples, the alkylated aromatics, olefin polymers, dibasic acid esters, polyesters, polyglycols can be used under very high temperature. Phosphate esters, silicones are very good synthetic lubricant. Silicate esters, fluorocarbons, polyphenol ethers. So there are a long list of the synthetic lubricants. Because of its unique property, we can use for the desired application. The only limitation of the synthetic lubricant to be used in the application, that is they are costlier as compared to the other lubricants we have talked about. So because of its cost, we should not apply in a large scale these lubricants. The next type of the lubricant is the semi-solid lubricant, and that is also called grease. Grease is a semi-solid lubricant. So a semi-solid lubricant is obtained by combining the hot lubricating oil with the thickening agent. We can say it is prepared by combining the thickening agent to the hot lubricating oil. What are the thickening agents? The thickening agents are generally the soaps. The soaps of the lithium, sodium, calcium, barium. They are called the soap thickeners. When these soap thickeners are added to the hot lubricating oil, we have the semi-solid gel-like appearance that is called grease. Understood? So on the basis of using the soap thickeners, we have different type of the grease obtained. So it can be classified into the various type, that is calcium based grease. It's a cheaper grease. Lithium based grease, which is used in the limited application because it is costlier. The soda based grease, it is used in the normal tractors and the water pumps. In the application of these devices, this is soda based grease is used. The another type of the grease is rosin grease. So it is also the cheaper grease like calcium based grease. In this, mainly this is the plant extraction product rosin is added. So in the railway track, in the streets, this cheaper greases are used. So on the basis of the soap thickeners, we can easily divide the greases into the following types as well as its application. Now we see the properties and the application of the grease. Grease supports heavy load. Under heavy load condition, grease is most suitable to be used as a lubricant as compared to the liquid lubricants. It cannot dissipate the heat from the bearings. So it is always used in the hot running bearing where the heat loss is not required. It is used where the contamination is also strictly prohibited. There is also the application of bearings in the machine where the contamination is strictly prohibited. It is used in the food industry, paper industry, textile industry, where the dripping of the oil can destroy the product. So the main application in the food industry, paper, textile industry, where if we use the liquid lubricant, a single drop of the oil can destroy the product. It is used in the hot running bearings. The another and the last category of the classification of the lubricant are the solid lubricants. There are the various solid lubricants like graphite, molybdenum disulfide, soapstone, mica. Among all the solid lubricants, most widely used solid lubricants are graphite and molybdenum disulfide. Graphite is most widely used of all the lubricants because it is very soapy to touch, non-inflammable, not oxidized in the air below 375 degrees centigrade. So these are the important properties of the graphite, and it is soapy to touch because it is having the layered flat structure. This is the layered and flat structure of the graphite. We can see the hexagonal layers are there of the carbon. The carbon hexagonal layers are connected to one another by the weak force that is called van der Waals force. And the distance between these layers of the hexagon is 3.4 angstrom. So the distance between the layer of the hexagon is 3.4 angstrom. So this is the distance, and held together by the weak force, a slight external force slide these hexagonal layer over each other. That's why it is soapy to touch and slippery nature. The graphite is having the slippery nature, soapy to touch. That's why it is used as a lubricant. So this is because of its layered and the flat structure. Because of this, the graphite is used as a lubricant, and it is not oxidized in the air below 375 degrees centigrade. It can be used directly in the powdered form or can be mixed in the oil or the water. When it is mixed with the oil, the suspension called oil dag. When it is mixed in the water, it is called aqua dag. So it can be used as a suspension oil dag or the aqua dag, or it can be directly sprinkled over the surface in the powder form. The oil dag, when we mixed in the oil and use the graphite, it is used in the internal combustion engine between the cylinder wall and the piston. Graphite is used in the air compressors, foodstuff industry, railway track joints, cast iron bearings. According to their properties, these are the major application of the graphite. Graphite is also said, graphite can be used as a lubricant on the surface of the moon. Why? Because on the surface of the moon, the temperature fluctuation is very high. So with that temperature fluctuation, graphite do not have the effect, and it can be used as a lubricant. The next solid lubricant is the molybdenum disulfide layer. It has the sandwich-like structure in which we have the middle layer is of molybdenum and the outer two layers that is of sulfur. So it's a sandwich-like structure, and it is held together by the weak force, that is the van der Waals force again, like the graphite. These layers of the molybdenum and the sulfur layer are held together by the weak force. A slight external force can slide all the layers to one another. That's why it is again used as a lubricant. Its fine powder may be sprinkled on the surface, sliding at the high velocity. It can also be used along with the solvent and mixed with the greases also. The major application of the molybdenum disulfide is the space vehicles, where the molybdenum disulfide and the graphite both are used. So these are the solid lubricants. On the basis of the structure, it is having the property and the application. So this is all about the classification of the lubricants. Thank you and take care.